Hi, this is Jamalor, your reporter for Step 5, Write Your Literature Review. Please watch this.
My topic is all about the step 5, which is write your literature review. So, what is a literature review? So, the format of a review of literature may vary from discipline to discipline and from assignment to assignment. So, a review may be a self contained unit and end in itself or a preface to a rationale for engaging in primary research. So, a review is a required part of grant and research proposals and often a chapter in thesis and dissertations. Generally, the purpose of a review is to analyze critically a segment of a published body of knowledge through summary, classification, and comparison of prior research studies, review of literature and theoretical thesis. So the first part in writing a literature review is the introduction. So what is inside in the introduction? So introduction is clearly established the focus and purpose of the literature review. So introduction, you should define or identify the general topic, issue, or area of concern, thus providing an appropriate context for reviewing the literature. Points of Point out overall trends in what has been published about the topic or conflicts in theory, methodology, evidence, and conclusions, or gaps in research and scholarship, or a single problem or a new perspective of immediate interest. So, establish the writer's reason or the point of view for reviewing the literature. Explain the criteria to be used in analyzing and comparing literature and the organization of the review or the sequence, and when necessary, state when certain literature is or is not included. So, next is the body. So, in writing the body, so depending on the length of your literature review, you might want to divide the body into subsection. So you can use a subheading for each theme, time period, or methodological approach. So in the body, you should group research studies and other types of literature, reviews, theoretical articles, case studies, or etc. According to common denominators such as qualitative versus quantitative approaches, conclusions of authors, specific purpose, or objectives chronologically. Summarize individual studies or articles with as much or as little detail as each merits according to its comparative importance in the literature, remembering that space or the length denotes significance. So, provide the reader with strong umbrella sentences at beginning of the paragraphs, signposts throughout and brief so what summary sentences at intermediate points in the review to aid in understanding comparisons and analysis. So the next is the tips in writing the body is summarize and synthesize, analyze and interpret, critically evaluate, write in well structured paragraphs. So the last part is the conclusion. So conclusion is to summarize the key findings you have taken from the literature and emphasize their significance. So, in the conclusion, you should summarize major contributions of significant studies and articles to the body of knowledge under review. So, maintaining the focus established in the introduction. So, evaluate the current or the state of the art for the body of knowledge reviewed, pointing out major methodological flaws or gaps in the research, inconsistencies in theories and findings and areas or issues pertinent to future study. So conclude by providing some insights into the relationship between the central topic of the literature review and a larger area of study such as the discipline, a scientific endeavor, or a profession. So, In dissertation literature review, if the literature review is part of your thesis or dissertation, show how your research addresses gaps and contributes new knowledge, or discuss how you have drawn on existing theories and methods to build a framework of your research. So if it is standalone literature review, you can discuss the overall implications of the literature or make suggestions for future research based on the gaps you have identified. When you're finished writing and revising your literature review, don't forget don't forget to proofread thoroughly before submitting. So that's all about the last step in writing a literature review. Thank you for listening.